Good evening, everyone. It's Neil with the Dashly Gentleman. And with me, I have Frank. Say hi, Frank. Say hi, Frank.
Hello.
And tonight, we are going to talk about schoolyard trends. What kind of schoolyard trends did you you know get involved with when you were still in school?
Did I get involved with or did I know of?
Sure.
The multicolored click pen.
Oh
It
yeah.
used to be like that big around, and you'd be like, it's blue, and now it's red, and now it's purple, and now it's blue again because magic.
Yeah, dude.
They'd be like, you're like, I'm gonna write in blue, I'm gonna write in red, I'm gonna. It's broken.
Yeah, shit's broke. The little pen tip would come out and like through that little hole, and it would pop back in again. And then you push it on, and then you push them all down at the same time, and it's just like DP in a butthole.
Yeah, you're like, but how does Ashley Blue do it?
Dude, we are like less than 2 minutes into this podcast, and we're talking about DPing buttholes.
And it wasn't me this time.
This is true.
That's important. That's
That's
important to point out.
well. So the hot thing on the streets right now, and it's probably started about a month ago. Yeah, I said it. Shut up. Uh, is fidget spinners. They are on fire right now. Like within like a week of me hearing about it, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That's for they were made originally to help autistic and ADD kids to have something in their hands to keep their hands busy, so they can not be a disruption to class and concentrate. Well, it became bigger than that, and now it's all trendy, and everybody has to have one.
You would think that, like, for fidgety kids, that giving them something to fidget with is just like enabling. That's like going to AA and like you got a guy who's got like a bunch of shakes, being like, "What? Take a sip of this. It'll take the edge off." You're like, that's good bourbon. Yeah, I mean, like I'm not shaking as much now because you just gave me something. I mean, like
Well,
you're not actually teaching anybody anything. I mean, like you're just making it so that they're more available to. I mean, like, okay, and I'm not saying like if a kid wants to just play with it, it's one thing. I'm talking about like, what up, guys? Pimp Panda, Gaming, Fabian, y'all my homies. But
like,
like, I'm saying like specifically like if you have a kid that has a problem and then you give it to him, it's like I feel like you're not actually helping. You're not like you need to learn how to deal with not being fidgety and to concentrate on stuff versus like I'm going to give you something, now sit down and shut up and let me get a paycheck.
it's okay. So there was a South Park episode about that, about kids with ADD, and there's a whole Ritalin thing, and they had like a line of kids, sideways single file, and they kept on trying to pump kids full of Ritalin, but this this new teacher came around. He's like, I've got the perfect solution to help these kids. It's not Ritalin. There's no drugs. Watch this. He walks up to him, slaps him in the face. Sit down and study. Yeah, I don't know if that works, Frank. I mean, it's
When I was in school, I remember that like I mean I don't know how it is now, obviously because I'm fucking old, but like it was we were in a time when it was like they were misdiagnosing ADD and ADHD nonstop.
sure.
It's like this kid's he talks all the time and he wants to know all these things that he just wants to like run around and he's got ADHD or he's 9.
Yeah, he's just a
Yeah,
kid.
I mean he's a kid. Yeah, he wants to know everything because he doesn't know anything. I mean like that's the whole purpose of him being in school. Gaming, you have ADD, so then would you feel like a fidget spinner would help you? I mean, like that, like if that's what they're for, I mean, it's like let's see some data on like on them being actually productive, or either that or it's just a toy.
I mean, obviously it's a toy.
I know, obviously it's a toy, but I mean, like, if they're like, we designed this for a specific medical purpose, and then like you don't do it, then it doesn't do it for you. Then there's no point.
Well,
But good, I'm glad it helps you then.
for the people that don't have ADD, it's obviously a toy. It's a trendy thing to do, and you gotta jump on that bandwagon.
Right. It's like it's like a fleshlight, you know. And I'm really mad that they're banning them. I
I
didn't think
mean,
about that. That's
nah,
bad.
that's no surprise there. You look at any kind of thing that blows up in school, then they ban that shit.
That's true because they're like no thinking for yourself, no independent outside things. I mean, well, I guess like it depends because like if like you're sitting there and the claim that fidget spinners were made specifically to aid ADHD sufferers is a myth. It was invented just as just a toy. Okay,
Oh,
cool.
okay.
See, there you
There
go.
you go.
See now if it's just a toy, it's just a toy. Fuck it, just play with it. Whatever,
Yeah.
fine. But I mean, like if it was like if some psychologists were like this is so that we can help kids with ADHD, it's like I feel like I feel like that is counterproductive to ADHD ADD treatment, education too.
Stop.
No, I was gonna say like I can't remember where I was gonna go with that. I got interrupted, so I can't remember where I was going with that. But it was gonna be like fleshlight versus fidget spinner, and for some reason they're on the same level. And your
Yeah.
dickie's cup, fuck you. But at least you're in space this time. It makes more sense
I don't know what that means.
because you're a dickhead in space.
Uh, so, okay, so fidget spinners. Um, when do you think they're gonna go away?
Couple of months.
Really?
I mean, unless like they end up like hanging in there like Pogs.
Pogs didn't hang in there for that long. They were banned in a heartbeat. I remember.
Are you talking about banning, or are you talking about like how long are they going to be a fad?
How long are they gonna be a fad? Yeah.
I don't know, probably a few months.
Okay. I'd give
Long
it
enough for the kids to be like, oh, this thing's so fun. That's all it does. Puts down. Proceeds to jerk off because recently discovered.
Oh man, you gotta combine the two: fidget spin on your boner and jerk off. See if you can keep it on there the whole time.
You're like one of those like monkeys in the circus that have the little plates,
Yeah.
but like it's on your hog.
Gross. So, okay, the fads that I had to endure when I was in school, I don't know why it came back, but the yo-yo came back about my time in middle school, and everybody was showing off their tricks and shit, and if you didn't have a yo-yo, you were pretty fucking lame. And I'm like, what is this, 1950? Like,
I had a yo-yo.
you...
No,
Of course you
listen
did.
though. I had a yo-yo because I was required to have one.
Really?
Yep.
Were you in the
It was
circus?
part of my. It was part of my. It was part of my my therapy
Yeah.
where I'd start getting pissed off
Well, no yo-yo.
and then like because it was that rhythmic because I didn't do any tricks with it, just like up and down, just and people were like what are you doing? I'm like, if you keep talking, I'm probably gonna break your arm. So I'm playing with my yo-yo because I don't want to break your arm.
Butterfly yo-yo for OG Ryan.
Remember the ones that were like they look like a bow tie?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, the very
I had,
low-tech
like,
ones.
I had like the dollar store yo-yo. I mean, like there were the guys that had like the ones that were like like specially weighted and they had like lights and shit. I was like, I have a solid plastic yo-yo, and I like I said because that's what I used it for. Just
Gotta get the ones with the bearings in them and shit, so they can sleep a little bit. And for like, the longer they sleep, the more tricks you can do before you have to pop it back up again.
no, I wasn't like I said, I wasn't that good with it. I saw people that I'm like they're like and then they do the cat scream like, oh, I'm so sick, and then they drop it and they pull it back up, but I'm like,
Bravo, bravo.
brava, bravissima. Now, why are you here?
So I mean that was a thing, and Uh, yeah, basically sub double. I mean, we're just talking about schoolyard trends in general and their effects and so on and so forth. We're just reminiscing right now, to be honest. You get them all together, then you can talk about, their effects and
Pogs.
Pogs. Pogs was considered gambling.
Because it was.
Uh, Pogs were banned very quickly because of the gambling nature of them. The whole thing where you put down a couple milk caps with designs on them, and
Spoons is one of my favorite drinking games.
then you throw your little slammer down, and if you flip both of them over, you get both of them, and you get to basically take them from the other kid. Yeah, that didn't last very long, especially when somebody bought a really expensive set of Pogs, and they lost them. They got
That's why, like, I
hustled.
never and like people used to play, magic cards, like where like you would take a card,
Hmm.
you'd win, then you take a card. I'm like, I don't do that.
No.
I'm like, I want to play because like with Magic, like but Magic especially, like I bought Magic cards because I love the art. I've still
Right.
got all my Magic cards, and I'm like, I love this art. It's fantastic. And then they're like, you want to play Magic? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll play. And they're like, this is the card I'm betting. I'm like, I'm gonna go.
Yep.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no, I never cared for the betting aspect of it, and there were too many good hustlers in school. I mean,
I I want to talk about spoons.
let's talk about spoons. What spoons?
Sub double. Yes, I have played spoons. It is a fantastic drinking game, but I will say I have gotten many bruises and a bloody lip playing spoons. So spoons is, say you have 5 people. There are 4 spoons in the middle of the table,
Right.
and then you get dealt 4 cards, and then you look at them, and then you have to pass them to the right as fast as you can until you get a four of a kind. And then you get a four of a kind, you grab a spoon. But you aren't required to say anything. So like if you're passing along and you get like, you're like, you just reach up and and you can just sit there and just see if anybody notices. And then whoever doesn't have a spoon last is the one who lost.
Okay.
So there have been times where we would play spoons, and like I go for a spoon, and then you go for a spoon, and when I see you going for the spoon, I will full body check you off your chair, and then take the spoon. Or like if I grab a spoon and you grab the spoon, it's not entirely impossible that I will put my foot on your cheek and pry the spoon away from your hands like a fish.
I don't see that being a good game. I mean,
We played this one game, and I had one of the guys who worked for me was right next to me, and I saw him. The person across from me grabbed the spoon, and he was still had cards in his hand, and he was moving them over. I fucking sucker punched him right across the jaw, and he was like, "Pow!" And I'm like, "Spoon, mine." And he's like, "Hold on," and then he ended up losing. He was like, "Well, yeah, I'd lose. I mean, you hit me in the face." I have no regrets.
play to win the game. Let's see.
Apart from lunch, you would take the tip of the spoon and try to break the fork part of the spoon. Broke off all the bristles. One. I've heard of the one you're talking about. Oh, okay. Then I had no idea what you were talking about. It was completely different than what we were talking about.
Pretty vague
Coincidentally,
names. I can imagine that. Good.
yeah. I mean, I was like, that sounds much more safe. That
Yeah.
sounds much more safe than what I was talking about.
I mean, just the name spoons for a game is pretty vague. You could mean anything.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
playing the
it
spoons.
could be butt stuff.
I saw that one episode of Oz. That was horrifying. Yeah.
I don't even know what you're talking about, and I don't think I want to.
Well, I'll tell you now.
Oh no.
Episode of Oz where this one guy, he's a squirrely little guy, so he couldn't really stand up for himself in prison. So he goes over to the slightly bigger guy, and he's like, "Hey man, I need your protection. I'm gonna get killed by the Nazis." And he's like, "Cool, all right, I got you. But
You know,
first,
like Aryan Brotherhood.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
but first, we're gonna spoon." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Bend over,
Oh no.
spoon."
But why?
I don't know.
I mean, like, how awkward would that be? Like, I mean, like, like Dude, can I borrow like $20? Sure.
Spoon.
Bend over. Like, I'm not I'm not sure what this is. I'm like not sure what's happening
No,
here.
I'd keep the $20.
You know what? Never mind. I'll go suck a dick. Cuz I don't know what that means.
Yeah, man. And you just see the horror in his face. He's just like screaming.
Ever play Tops? Are we talking like Dreidel? Dreidel.
Tops. That sounds familiar. I don't remember what it was though.
I don't know that many tops. I only know a lot of bottoms.
Um, Pokemon was pretty popular, but I think I got into high school before Pokemon became popular, and I never really got into it. But it was just any other card game, really. I mean, once Pokemon blew up, then came Yu-Gi-Oh and all those other card games. And same concept with Magic the Gathering, where you can bet your shit.
I'm a Beyblade master.
Oh, I forgot about
Duel.
Beyblades.
Wait, what Beyblades? Were those the spinny things?
Yeah,
Okay.
you basically it's
Yeah.
basically like Crossfire.
Oh, okay.
So you put a
The string
couple.
wrapped around it and you throw it to spin it on the ground. Oh yeah, yeah. So it's a dreidel. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, like, no, I've never played with one, but I have seen it. But usually, uh, they'd end up losing it or having to take it away, or somebody would grab it before, you get to see it for too terribly long
yeah,
because
Maybe.
kids are assholes.
I mean we did something simpler. It was we just flung a quarter around and tried to keep it spinning.
Oh,
Low tech.
yeah. I just fought all the time.
Yeah. We got a badass over here.
No, not even a little bit. It was just kid shit.
But Beyblades, though.
What are
Beyblade.
those?
Basically, you have like a little arena. And then you get your little Beyblade as a spinner thing. You fling that shit, and it spins just like a top. And they fling their shit in the arena. And the first one to stop spinning loses. I think that's the way that works. And then
I had a Tamagotchi.
I did too. I got bored of it real fucking quick.
I intentionally killed mine.
Like over time, or
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, basically, like, used to play with money on those things. I had a metal one that would break kids' wooden ones. Cheating.
fucking cheating hustler,
Yeah.
swindler.
I killed my Tamagotchi, where I just, like, let it sit there and, like, shit over the entire thing, and then it was getting sick, and I was like, good.
Why waste your time? Just fucking grab it and dip it in water.
Because I have social issues.
Okay, you want to see it
I
suffer.
think, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
You got problems.
No, you say problems. I see them as creative solutions.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, okay. I mean, we can
Back in
just
2019.
we can talk about all the freaking trends and whatnot. What do you think the standard lifespan of a trend is? Like
Like a
trends
few
like
months.
those. Like a
Like
few
a few
months.
months.
Okay.
Beanie Babies hung on for a long time,
That's because somebody said they'd be worth money at some time.
which I don't understand. I truly don't. I mean, it's not like gold. I mean, like this Beanie Baby's gonna be worth millions.
We're literally printing money over here.
Like I don't think so. Unless that Beanie Baby is full of cocaine, I don't think it's gonna be worth anything other than like the 15 ridiculous dollars you spent on it.
Did you hear about the Beanie Babies that had spider eggs in them?
No, but that's terrifying and amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is probably a rumor, but I heard at one point that there was a big old batch of Beanie Babies that was sent over here that had spider eggs in them, and they would hatch, and there would be spiders everywhere. That's terrifying. Oh, look at
Hoax.
Pokes.
Hoax.
Hoax.
It was a
Okay.
hoax.
Oh,
Yep.
you're looking at Snopes.
Yep.
Snopes says it was a hoax.
Snopes was a hoax. So does HoaxSlayerSyracuse.com and Clickhole, which is an awesome name for a website and a pornographic material.
Clickhole.
Clickhole.
I'm cool with that.
I get you so deep in my clickhole. I don't know if it's a local thing, but I saw 3 kids standing side by side, each holding a golf ball facing a wall. They dropped the ball at the same time. Whichever ball hit the wall first
One.
won. I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing here. I heard that before. I'm not familiar with current schoolyard games. Fuck, I don't know. I mean, I'm not either because it's been kind of a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that sounds more like a science experiment. Like
Yeah.
we're exploring Newton's law rather than playing a game. I mean, like if I want my golf ball to win, I will just drop it, like like with a whoop,
Put a little bit of propulsion behind it.
put a little spin on it, an object in motion, and I want to win.
You want to be the very best, dude.
I want to be the very best because fuck you guys.
So, okay. Do you think
Because nerds.
do you think these trends are healthy?
It took steps back, but one further than the other. Huh. That's weird. It's interesting, but it's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be interested to see how that would work.
He's gonna look it up. Here he goes.
No, I'm not gonna look it up.
Okay.
That would involve, yeah, someone crash their game. Oh, you gotta do like, look at the balls, little baby Alex.
So do you think these trends are healthy, or
They can be. It's I don't know. I think that like it's good to let people have like their moment where they're like, oh my god, it's great, and then to kind of grow out of it, and then to realize the limitations of what they've got, and then be like, that's cool, but I can do, and then whatever, and then it's like they got out of their system and they go into something else.
sure?
And then I mean, what's also nice is that like these little knick-knacky toy companies will make stuff like this. They belt out a bunch of them, bunch of new jobs, bunch of new income, bunch of new taxes, and then people make money off of it, and
Sure.
economy makes money. So I mean, like it's a nobody's getting hurt unless people are doing stupid shit. Like you were talking about a guy with a fidget spinner with razor blades on it. In which case, yes, someone's getting hurt.
That was a really dumb video. I mean, his whole point of it was like, well, fidget spinners are fucking boring because there's no danger involved. So let's add some danger. Strap some razor blades to it.
Subdouble says, damn millennials can't stay with one thing for a long period of time. A generational ADHD. I agree with that.
That's everybody, though.
Yo, hacky sacks. I remember playing with hacky
Oh,
sacks.
shit.
I mean, sorry, I remember seeing people play with hacky sacks. I never had one
Yeah, me neither.
because I had a dog. I'd be like, boom, hacky sack, Woo! And then he would just attack.
Attack and then poop it out a couple hours later.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. You say millennials, but that's everybody. I mean, trends come and go. Doesn't matter what generation we're talking about.
Not me.
Oh, yeah?
I'm eternal and perfect.
Well, that's the podcast, folks.
I am the morning and the evening star.
Oh, Satan?
No, he's just the morning star.
Oh, okay.
I'm better.
You're both. You go both
I
ways.
am both the alpha and the omega.
Up
The
it.
Frank man cometh. Sometimes you can even hear it.
I got nothing, dude.
Frank cometh. Wear your raincoat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Oh, you were the worst. 10-cent host.
why you gotta say that?
Because it's true.
So, do you think video games are still trendy?
Define trendy. Are you talking about like trends within video games or video games themselves being trendy?
Like, do you think kids have moved on? I mean, I remember being in school and only a very small group of kids would, and they weren't even really grouped together because they were primarily antisocial, but, there wasn't a whole lot of gamers in school. Do you
Mm.
think that has grown over time, or do you think it has lessened over time?
I think that's about the same. I mean, like I think it's just because like they're like we have a huge increase in how much the video game industry is generating,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of those games aren't designed for really young kids anymore. Because like back whenever like the Nintendo came out, whenever like it was you're talking about that particular social misfit group,
Mm-hmm.
it was like you had like your Super Metroid, your Link to the Past, shit like that, or
Right.
like you had like your original Nintendo core group, and then but like as those kids grew older, it's like the tastes grew older. It was around 35. And it's still in where it's always been. Yeah, see, I agree with that. I mean, like, I feel like the generation that was, like, really kind of, like, reared by video games and really grew up with them has been, like, has just moved. So it's like the demographic is the same. It's just that that generation has just gotten older.
Sure.
I mean, like kids, like kids will play more video games now than they ever have but it's like, what do you define as being like the gaming community now? Because that's what's really changed. Because like now you have access to games first when we grew up. Because before it's like you had to have the SNES and then you had to be able to play the SNES, the specific cartridge. But now it's like got mom's phone, there's a free game on it.
Yeah.
Boom, that kid's a gamer. Realistically, that kid's a gamer. I mean, like we define a gamer as like somebody who plays Destiny or somebody who plays like some other kind of like more or less casual title. But like you got like a bazillion soccer moms across the country playing Candy Crush. They're all gamers.
Yeah. Technically.
So I mean, like I think that the availability has gone up, but I think that the core group that you're talking about is the same.
Do you think that gamers have become more accepted over time? Like I said before, they were pretty much shunned. I got a lot of dirty and weird looks when I was a kid. Anytime I brought up video games, like I was just a nerd or whatever. Do you think that that's less of a taboo? I don't even call it a taboo, but less of a nerd. Like just calling people out for being different kind of thing. Do you think it's
I th-
more accepted?
I think that it's more accepted because again the generation has moved. Because a
Yeah.
lot of the generation where like we have people that would be singling others out. Now we're seeing an influx of came without his wife. He was happy. He was hilarious. EverQuest was for whenever EverQuest came out for the first 3 years that it was out. It was the number one cause of divorce in America.
Was it?
Canon. Yep.
Wow.
Um, well, it's easy to get obsessed with it,
Sure.
but so do I think that they're more easily accepted? The demographic has moved, but like the same people that didn't accept it before are just older. So again, like it's just sort of slid as far as time goes.
Mm.
I think that it's become more acceptable. Yeah, because not only is it a huge industry, but at the same time, we're also seeing stuff like, you know, Marvel makes a lot more movies. DC makes movies, although badly. You've got consumable fictional media in every corner of the planet versus before, whenever it was like the most video game ish that you got was Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like when we were kids. It was like you had Batman. You had the Batman movies, and that was it. That was as close as it got. And but like now, unbelievable consumable media. So like your Final Fantasies and shit like that have become a lot more mainstream because you're also seeing them on television. You're seeing them in commercials. The graphics have come up, so like and the stories are noticeably more adult. So I think that it's a lot easier to point at it and being like this is closer to something like a book or an interactive movie than it is just being like back in the day whenever like this kid would play a plumber who's gonna jump on a fire breathing dinosaur.
Sure.
Boom, 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 boom. Nerd. And look at the technology. I mean, like back then, it was still like go outside and ride your bike. If you don't have a job that makes you sweaty at the end of the day, you're not really working for a living.
Right.
But like now, it's like we have like this huge rush to IT fields, and technology is a proponent of our society, and the technology of video games has gone up. So then it's like, okay, well then now it's just a thing that people do, And I think that a lot of times people just are more accepting of that because of the inundation of high technology in our country anyway.
Fair enough. That's cool. All right then.
Thank you. I love my mustache too. Mustache rides 10 for a dollar. Bring a friend, you can ride for free.
Yeah, take turns though. There's only one mustache.
There's a
So
waiting line.
take a number. All right. Well, yeah, man. I knew that this topic would be um pretty quick to talk about, but what do you have any input on it? Like that I might not have covered.
I'm still not totally sure what a fidget spinner is.
It's literally like a piece of
Does it
plastic.
you just like do you like squeeze it and it just
No,
spins?
you hold it with your two fingers, and then you spin it, and then it just spins forever. That's it.
You know what makes me insane
What?
is that people made money with that.
People were making tons of money. Like, okay, so I went to Mayfest last weekend, and there were fucking kiosks everywhere with nothing but fidget spinners. I go down the street to go to Cane's to grab me some chicken fingers, and on the corner are kiosks of fidget spinners. Shit's everywhere right now. I'm not saying they're selling, but they're there.
But pet rocks make more sense than a fidget spinner because you can't beat someone to death with a fidget spinner.
You could beat somebody to death with anything if you try hard enough.
No, because it just becomes like you're holding like the remnants of a circle of plastic and you're just beating them now with your fist. With a rock, I mean, you're like, down, boy, down. No, no.
He's not trained well.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, I mean, not true.
But yeah, you could. It's everywhere right now. And they're. I don't know if they're making a ton of money. I don't know how many you can buy without being all right. I've got one for every finger, and they're all different colors and shit. But like, basically, like, there's a finite amount that you can buy, and be satiated with your lust for fidget spinners. I mean, what?
I feel like at one point the fidget spinner needs to end up in an adult bookstore.
Yeah.
Because all they need to do is just make it a little bit wider, and then just have the one weight.
Nah, dude, that's
Golden.
not gonna happen.
I'm gonna make one.
Now it's gonna happen. You're gonna make it happen.
All I need is a 3D printer and a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some synthetic flesh. I would love to get a recipe for synthetic flesh. Just because I would love to have like huge slabs of it hanging in my basement. Just like, I'm making a person downstairs. Get like a coffin looking like light bed to dry them with and be like, that's good. I'm making a clone.
Shit got real dark.
No, that's fake people. They're fine.
What about VR?
What about VR?
That's kind of become a trend. Do you think it's gonna be like the future?
I don't see how VR could do anything other than be the future.
Yeah.
Stop! My penis can only get so erect. No, I want VR to be good, but at the same time, I also feel like VR only has a certain has a very specific niche application.
Okay.
I mean, like, it has to be first person, obviously. It has to be completely 3D, again, obviously, because otherwise, like, it breaks the immersion and then it just makes it confusing. Can you imagine trying to play a game that isn't fully immersive 3D with VR goggles, like a 2D?
It would be a lot like just fucking watching Netflix. Like, you're in a... Whoa, dude, I'm totally in a room looking at a TV playing Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess that's true. And he's gonna divorce his wife once he can legally marry a Widowmaker hologram. He might have a point.
Yep.
Look, okay, if I'm gonna have a Widowmaker hologram, obviously I'm gonna have an Avatar chick in there too. And an Anna. So it'll be like Widowmaker, Neytiri, and Anna. And I'm sorry, the papers will be in the papers will be in the mail. I'll just there's not enough water bottles in the world. But I've seen videos where people in Japan are making VR porn, but they've got like a body harness that like the action goes with like a fleshlight, and so like it basically bangs you.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm like that's too much work. It's like you got to put it on, you got to put the harness on, you got to check to make sure it's got enough power, you got to make sure that the batteries are good, you got to make sure that it's clean, and then you're like, and now I'll let you hook up to this apparatus. You're like, now I gotta get a boner, and I gotta stick it in this thing, and then I gotta pretend like I'm not looking at it while I'm doing it, and it's weird.
Look, you can solve a whole lot of that by A, not ever taking it off. B, not worrying so much about cleanliness.
Just open the blast cap off the back. Just
empty it out. And see, I mean, like, that's my secret. I always have a boner, so you don't have to get a boner if you always have a boner. Pop a couple pills, baby.
Melissa says whole bodysuits. I would like to get a whole like neoprene waterproof bodysuit and just fill it with Vaseline and just roll around for a while. That would probably be the ultimate experience.
No.
Oh. Damn, back to the drawing board. Hang Frank from the swing and slap the VR goggles on. Are you just hanging me in general, or are we like, am I doing something cool with it? I'm like, I don't care.
So you don't think that VR is going to go away anytime soon? You don't think that it's going to fade away kind of like 3D movies have?
3D movies haven't faded away. They're still there. They're still coming out. They're still coming out with them.
Yeah, but they're not like a focal point anymore.
Here's the thing. What they did is they stopped making movies based on 3D. There are movies that are cool to watch in 3D, and it's neat that it is in 3D, but it's not like the cinematography was not designed to be 3D.
Right.
So say like perfect example is the Journey to the Center of the Earth movie with The Rock. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast. Thanks so much. So when like something explodes and it's like and then it comes back. Yeah. That's a cheap 3D thrill. And like the whole movie is based on doing cheap 3D thrills. And they once now that they're kind of like the movies are normal, regular movies, they just happen to be in 3D. They look infinitely better. They run better. They don't lean as heavily on CGI. Well, more or less. And I actually disagree, Melissa. I do not think that VR is only a mall kiosk gimmick. As I have a gear VR, just with what I have on my phone, I think it's fantastic. Whenever a lineup of PC titles that you can get that have VR on them already make the VR a worthwhile purchase, depending on if you really want to get really into it. Meet Hardcore Henry in 3D. That would make me puke. That'd probably make everybody puke.
As far as
so say like, later on tonight, I'll probably end up playing Subnautica. That's in 3D. Or that's in VR. You can play that game in VR with the handhelds and everything. So I mean, like, if you have the technology and you have the stuff to get it set up with, you could really, really get a lot out of your VR. But the stealing stashes 24/7, 365, word up. But then you just have to have the right rig. You have to have the right setup, and you have to know about the specific titles that you're going for. If you don't have the technology to do it, then VR will be a mall kiosk gimmick, because it's like anything else. If you don't know it exists and you can't actually get to it, then it doesn't do you any good.
Speaking of mall kiosks, I would strongly suggest you don't use mall kiosk VR. There have been plenty of reports about people getting pink eye.
Oh,
Don't do it.
No.
Don't do it.
Somebody pooping this thing.
Or,
They took a duty booty and then they just rubbed it on there.
maybe you should take some wet naps with you, some disinfectant before you put that shit on.
Some Clorox eye drops.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so you think VR is gonna stay, and you think 3D is still a thing. And you know what? I choose not to watch movies in 3D nowadays.
I do too.
Because I wear glasses, and I hate wearing glasses over my glasses. I think it honestly takes away from the movie itself. But most people I know that go to the movies nowadays don't watch it in 3D on purpose. So
Yeah, I don't. I mean, like, if a movie comes out in 3D, I don't. I'll go watch it in 2D.
yeah,
It's the same reason why, like, I guess like a lot of video games, like, if it doesn't need to, if I don't feel like it needs to be in VR, I won't attempt to play it in VR. I won't attempt to play it in 3D. That's why, like, the 3D, the 3DS, I was like, nah, no, I'm good. I don't
right,
want
right. Do you remember what was it called? Virtual Boy?
that. Oh, where it was all red and it was like soul crushing.
Yes.
Yeah, I do. I remember that. We had a friend that had one. It was terrible because it was one of those. It was like the little handheld Tiger. Remember the Tiger handhelds?
Mm-hmm.
Where it was like, like you could see if you look at it, like you hold it up in the light, you could see where all the moves already were. They would just like let me like
Right.
fight. And it was the same thing with the Virtual Boy. It wasn't like it wasn't like it had a screen that was playing independent video. It was just like it was already like preloaded stuff.
Right.
It was like one step above. What are the the things that you put on it and then you click them, and it changes the ViewMaster. It was one step. It was one step above a ViewMaster.
You know how they did that shit, right? Like, it's just like having a bunch of light bulbs, like LEDs in general, like having them set up a certain way. Clickety clackety. Having your LEDs set up a certain way in the very specific moves you plan them to make, and then you just say turn the light on when you're ready for it to be on. I mean, that's all it was. It's like, I have a diagram. Turn on lights, turn off lights. Like, it was,
Yay!
whoa. But yeah, you know,
Yeah, I do. I disliked the Virtual Boy mostly because I spent a lot of time not having any idea. I'm like, why is this a thing?
right.
And then they didn't do anything with it. They're like, here's your launch titles, and then over. And I'm like, oh, great, wonderful. It's like, well, I mean, what was the purpose? I didn't feel like there really was any. And then, I mean, obviously, it never went anywhere.
Right. Just a second here. Alright.
Thanks, Nelson. I still love my stash too. I'm attached to it. Not fuck you. That was good. Give me that one. Come on.
What are you talking about?
I fucking hate you so much.
Ooh.
You. He says. Nelson says, dude, I still love that stash of yours. And I said, thanks. Me too. I'm kind of attached to it.
Yeah, I didn't remove it because of that.
No, I'm talking about what I just said. You weren't fucking listening.
Oh no, I was busy.
Ass jockey.
Busy,
You're the worst.
fixing a mistake that another gentleman made.
You're the worst.
Anywho. So. What were you
I'm sweating. I'm so pissed off at you.
Sponging yourself.
I'm sponging myself because you're such an asshole.
Oh, I'm an asshole.
You are an asshole.
You got any final thoughts, Frank?
Fidget spinners are neat and money.
Yes.
I mean, like, if you like them, you like them. Go for it.
Fair enough.
I mean, What's it gonna do? You're gonna be like, we. Let's think about how it's gonna help you get through shit like the DMV or a doctor's office. You know, you
Yeah.
just like sit there like you're like, I could just leave. I could read Golf Digest for the fifth time, or I could just hang out and think about how I'm gonna improve my life beyond this point. Pew, pew.
All
So
right.
so good it fits your face. I can't say.
He's
Good,
undressing
e-
all of you with his eyes.
good evening.
Well, my final thought on it is, I don't know. I guess I'm just a hater, but I've always hated trendy things. Um,
I bet you were black fingernail polish in high school.
no, I really didn't. I, I know what you're saying. You know, I'm a nonconformist, straight edge. Nah, I just hated trendy shit. I went out of my way to not be trendy. Um, so anytime I see a new trend pop up, I I cringe. But it's just my like first reaction to it. But then I just like move on. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It serves a purpose, you know?
You're like one of those guys that's like, you see Game of Thrones come out, and you're like, oh, it's stupid. Everybody's watching, and I don't want to watch that. And then like, it ends up being earth shatteringly good, and you're like, whatever, it's dumb. And now you're doubled down. It's not me, it's everyone else.
You know, it's funny that you say that because I was that way with Game of Thrones at first, for sure. I'm like, this is stupid. And I tried to watch the first episode and I couldn't get into it. I'm like, I don't know why everybody likes this shit. And then, wait, I did the same thing with yo-yos when they came back. I'm like, you guys are all a bunch of fucking idiots. And then after they stuck around for a little bit longer than I thought they were gonna stick around, I'm like, all right, I guess I'll get a yo-yo. And then it fucking went away a week later.
Yeah. They're all gone, everyone's all like, that's stupid now. And Neil's like, uh,
check, check out all these cool tricks I can do, guys. Oh, we've moved past that already. Oh,
yeah,
well,
you're that guy at the party.
that plus I was poor.
Show up in a
So
cardigan. Guys, look at this cardigan. I'll match you guys now. We can be friends. Yeah, we're graduated now.
yeah.
Oh, I'll kill myself.
Plus it didn't help the fact that I was poor. So also made me hate trends because I couldn't buy that shit.
Good thing that like trends never came in car form.
Yeah.
Unless like what was it? Oh, there was a car Lancer. It was like
Mitsubishi Lancer Evo.
yeah, it was the flagship car of teenage girls.
Yep.
And I loved it. I loved it because I was like, you see Lancer, I'm like, boom. There's a child under the age of 18 that drives that vehicle, guaranteed. Like
Sure.
95% accuracy.
The other 5% are rally racers.
The other 5% were people trying to pretend like they didn't buy a Lancer and then realize that only teenage girls drove them. Like you walk up and you look in the window and you kind of like look at the guy. You're a grown ass man in a Lancer. What's that about? Once you get to 18, it's like Children of the Corn. Once you get to 18, you have to pass it on.
Yeah. I think
Pogs
you're
or
talking.
I think you're talking about Pogs.
Yeah, Pogs.
I loved Pogs. I had like okay. I guess I can't say I loved it because like I only had like 4 tubes of them.
I had
The people who were like, I really love Pogs had like 75. I'm like, oh, they're kind of neat. But then like I was like, these are kind of cool because at first like they had like the art on them, but then I'm like, I don't want to destroy them.
Dude,
Can you imagine? Can you imagine like if you had to play Magic with the same like violence that you played Pogs? I couldn't do it.
No. No. I don't even like shuffling my cards.
Shuffling my cards.
My cards.
I'm from Minnesota. I only have cards here.
Like, I had the same problem with Pogs. I didn't get into Pogs until everybody started getting out of it because I was poor.
I got mine on the cheap.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was like Because I go to like we had like the flea market sales,
Yeah.
and then this guy'd be like, I got all these fucking things, that he'd be like, what was it, Uncle Willie's warehouse store? I got all these fucking pogs there. I gotta give him the fucking thing. I gotta move this shit.
I got
Come
shit
down
I'm
and buy these
trying to
fucking
sell over here.
pogs. And frog.
Wow. I think we're good, dude.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up. Thanks everybody for dropping by. This is quite the turnout tonight. We'd like to see more of that going forward.
Yes,
If you like what you saw, like what you heard, please like, rate, comment, subscribe, follow, so on and so forth. Visit us at dastardlygentleman.com. Follow us on Twitter at dastardlymen. Like us on Facebook. If you have any comments or questions, please email us. Send us a tweet. Something. Anything. Tell your friends. Yes, that's right, Ryan. Tell your damn friends how awesome we are. And tell them to watch us. Until next time. Now you'll probably have a stream later on tonight, Nelson, so we'll be around. But until next time. See you later.
Goodbye.
Come on, I gotta do things.